Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today we visit the creative process with Nick Curto, the one, the only, the legendary. Greetings, Nick. How are you?
Thank you, Hercules, for that wonderful introduction, and the check will be in the mail. Thank you.
I look forward to it. I'll be listening to your show as I always do, and I'm looking forward to it. And if you need me, just holler. I'll be here.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this is the creative process. My name is Nick Curto, and I'm your host. And the creative process has always been truly one of the high points of my life. Ever since I was a kid, drawing and doing clay modeling and so forth, this has always been a very special time. And when I was in grade school, I did puppet shows. I wrote them. My father built a puppet stage, and we did plays, original plays at the time. And when I was in high school, I was at the drama club president, and it gave me an amazing uh, idea of doing improv acting, and that became something that was a big deal in my life and still is right now, and we'll get into that a little later. Uh, Tonight, my guest is very, very special to me. Uh, she and I graduated from the Massachusetts College of Art and Design in Boston, Mass., one of the best schools in the whole world as far as we're concerned. And Jeanne Manzelli, wonderful to have you on the program. Thank you
Well,
so much for coming.
thank you for having me. This is fun, Nick. Thanks a lot.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is. And I've been so looking forward to this and catching up with you. And at some point, hopefully in the spring, I plan to go to Boston for a weekend
Mm,
and to perhaps we can get together with a couple of other of our alumni.
absolutely.
But Gene, you are such a creative person, and I remember right from the very beginning when I met you, you've got an energy. You've got this incredible energy, a loving, creative energy that just goes through everything you do, and it's still so much there, and I just love that.
What? I say that again? No, thank you very much. Um, yeah, I was thinking when you were talking about creative energy, I think what you did as a child with your father making sets and so forth, that was amazing. My my childhood was a fantasy childhood, and it's still creative, but very different, all up in my head.
And if you are blessed enough to have relatives or your parents or
Mhm.
schoolmates encourage you, help you to do creative things, it puts you in a state that let's go ahead and try something new. Let's create something brand new. And that's such a thrilling experience, no matter if
It
you're a
is.
poet, a graphic designer, an artist, a sculptor, an actor, doing something new and being creative has to press every single button of you in a creative way. And it just gives you your very best that there is. Don't you feel that?
When you hit that spot, when you get into the zone, it's euphoric. It is euphoric. The
It
rest of the
is.
time, you can get into all kinds of trouble. But that's the other part of creativity. But once it's channeled and grounded, there is nothing like it is the absolute best life. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
I think the thing is you just have to take that step that says, I'm doing something that's never been done before. No one has ever done this particular thing in this way. And I'm the instrument for that creativity. It's almost religious. In some ways,
Oh,
I
it is
think it is
religious.
religious. And it really does give you a sense that everything you've known, everything you've learned, you're using that for something to create something of the unknown, something new.
It's interesting. I gotta think that for a minute. I think I come at it a little differently, Nick,
Okay?
but I think we get to the same place because we're sharing an experience that is common to artists. But at the same time, I teach and getting students to the place that, in a way, they're already at is interesting. To walk a human being with has all of this going for them, but they also don't trust it always. And they need a certain kind of, again, uh, creative teaching to help them to feel that they're being seen and understood. And then they take off like a rocket, and it's wonderful. Love it.
It's nice to be in a position of encouraging creativity in people, whether it's a small child, an adult,
Exactly.
whoever. There's just something about that, letting them take the next step, giving them encouragement to do that. I always feel very good about that, about doing something and saying, take the next step. Don't be afraid. If it's something you feel as though, uh-oh, I did it the wrong way, do it again, do it differently, and just keep going because uh, doing something until it seems right to you, what an incredibly exciting path and journey that is. And when you come across something that you're creating and thinking, I'm on the right track, that is everything. I'm on the right track. I'm getting to where I need to be on whatever I'm doing.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too. It's taken a lifetime, but at the same time, I have confidence I never had before because I thought, oh, well, I've done this, I've done this, I know how to do that, I know how to do that. And I look for challenges as opposed to feeling that there's some sort of a judgment.
absolutely. I was
Yeah.
working with a dear friend on a Broadway musical idea. And we were working on the book in his apartment because he had a really good computer, and we were really going through the scenes, and many months it took, and we were really getting to a point that we had the characters, we had the acting, we had where the jokes were, and it became something that the creative people that we were making up in the script were actually dictating what they were saying at some point. Or my friend Jeff was saying, Nick, this is what she'd say. And he'd say it and go, oh my God, yeah, that's exactly what she would say. So it was, and then here's the thing, Jeanne, that was exciting. When I was walking home from my partner, my writing partner's apartment, I started hearing the songs.
Wow.
I started hearing what she and he and the others would be singing. And at the time, this is a long time ago, I went to a payphone. Remember those? Remember the payphones we had? And
I do.
I would sing and do lyrics on the payphone until I could get home to then record it.
Wow.
Right. And it's such an exciting thing because it felt like I almost was being tapped by another energy to say, go ahead, this is what it would be like. This is what it would be.
Mhm.
How exciting was that process?
Oh,
I
it's
can't think of
crazy.
anything I'd rather do than something like that.
Oh, I know. I know. It's wonderful. And I feel really fortunate that I enjoy teaching and that the style I bring to teaching is casual and funny because I believe that you learn more on the playground, I mean, so if you can keep it light and all that while show a whole nother, perhaps different way to look at things, it's a blast. I love it. And to be able to have the opportunity to do that, just I just think it's the best. Like when I work with my students, one of the things that now that our student population, and I've taken a year off from teaching and now I'm going back, but um, people are afraid to fail. And that's educated into us. So when I get a student like that, or sometimes I'll even offer it to the class, I say, your assignment is to leave this room and fail. Okay.
Oh,
Please go out there and fail. Now, of course, if they succeed in failing, they haven't failed. So it's not even there to begin with.
right, right. Oh, that's great. That's
Isn't that
great.
cute? Yeah, they like that.
And when something starts looking or sounding or feeling right. It's like I'm there. I'm so close to what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Something new, something exciting, something that's never been done before.
Well, I don't know if I've ever done anything hasn't been done before, because you build on things that have been done before.
Okay.
But by the same token, I don't even care anymore, Nick. I'm like over the top on this. So that when I am in that place where I'm thinking, ooh, I'd like to try that. I don't care if it's been done before. It's never been done by me. And I want to do it. That's why I'm doing these egg tempera things. Who in their right mind does egg tempera? It's brutal. So
Good for you, really.
yeah. So I'm doing these. Yeah, I said, why not? Let's give that a shot.
Well, look, I want to go back a little bit and ask you a couple of questions. Where were you born, and did your family encourage your creativity? Were they creative? Your
They, I was born in Cambridge,
Cambridge?
and I grew up in an Italian conclave. I mean, it was when I think back to where I grew up, I go, wow, I couldn't even afford that apartment now. But we owned my grandfather bought two houses side by side, six kids. Everybody had an apartment until they, were together and they did what they did. And so you were always surrounded by family, many of whom were either bilingual or English was their second language. And you don't think anything about that. It's a very common Gen 1, Gen 2 thing. So in any event, so I was there. Now, my family is very creative in a different way than I am. There are builders in my family. Builders, they build stuff, but they don't just build little things, they build buildings, places for people to live, environments. These guys can build anything. And my father, extremely creative. When after we left Cambridge, mom and dad bought a piece of property in Lincoln. Now, Lincoln was nothing to us. We knew nothing about Lincoln. So just by way of showing my father's creativity, the house was on a slight slope, the lot rather was on a slight slope. He wanted to build it underground into the hill.
Wow.
Okay, now this is cool. He's like eons ahead of the game. My mother goes, no way am I living underground. But it's a brilliant idea. It's a very smart idea. And dad was always looking at another way to do it. He got a kick out of it, and he was good at it. And Nick, to be fair, there are so many people, so many students, so many individuals that don't have that formal education. And that's when that holds them back, it's criminal because, why? My dad only had a limited education, which again was not uncommon at the time. They waited for people to absorb the language before they would promote them. So my father was much older in the younger grades. They left at 14. He had to go to work. It's a common, but a kind of sad story. So as I'm teaching in community college, which is a choice I think is excellent, I'm getting a lot of those Gen 2 kids, Gen 1 kids. I know exactly what they're doing. They're breaking culture, and they can't go back. Once you've been to the mountain, it's very deep. So me being able in my position as teacher, as educator, to say to them, it's okay. It's going to be a little rough. It's okay. You stay with that because anything else won't work.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Absolutely perfect. Yep.
you'll get fired. That simple.
Wow. Interesting.
You
Interesting.
will. You'll get fired. It's not even a question.
Now, I
Flip a
want to
note at
talk
this
a little
point.
bit about your education because I read your resumes and it's amazing what you have done in your life. And if you could just briefly tell our viewers uh, where you were educated and what areas of creativity you embrace, because that is really interesting.
Can you give me a hint?
Well,
What
let's
did
start
you
with the
read that you
let's
particularly were interested in?
start with the schools you went to.
Oh, sure. So I was a absolutely average student in high school, but I was drawn to art and theater. But then after that, I applied to mass art because, embarrassing as it sounds, I figured I could probably get into art school. I didn't want to not get into college. My mother would have a fit. So, but it was the perfect choice for me, Nick, because it the whole business about art is intellectual, it's ancient, it goes right into something that is indescribable and essential to humanity. And if you have that opportunity, wow, you know? So after that, I went to mass art, right? And at mass art, I loved it because I was with people like me. We were all left shoes. All of us had some little, you were lucky, but I was friends with several people and a couple of people that you were friendly with who had a hard time because of that culture that you have to step over. You see, people that are doing that and the huge sacrifices they made, they don't want you to lose their culture, and they feel that education will do that. And they're right, it will. So it's very tricky business. So in any event, so after mass art, I, I almost got kicked out in my senior year. Another story. But that's anyway. Um, because I wanted to do things that weren't being done. They didn't have any trouble with that, but they also wanted me to still do my homework. And I didn't want to do my homework. I only wanted to do this other cool thing. But everyone was kind, and they were decent about it, and I got through. But then I took the next 2 years to try, and I was doing jewelry at the time, to try and make jewelry and sell it, to learn how you monetize this education. Now, my parents were encouraging. They were good. They weren't not thrilled, but they were okay with it, and my dad was kind of into it. And then I got to a point after 2 years where I realized I simply did not know enough. I could make my rent, but I was always hustling. And I learned a lot actually by this, just working way down in the weeds. But I decided I needed to pick up another degree that to kind of for my possible work thing. So at that point, it was 1968, and there was there was a UMass Boston, but no art in it. So my choices were to go to UMass Amherst, which I didn't want to do because I really loved Boston. I wanted to be there, and I was moving along nicely in the, kind of art scene. Nick, it was like the 3-hour tour on the Minnow. All right. I never went back. Not because I was in love with it, but I don't even know. The stars aligned. But what happened was I fell into a group of people that had been headhunted from all over the country. They had hired a new dean of education in that school. That dean had a blank checkbook, and they were motivated to implant really PhD students. A lot of them were people of color, that into higher education in order to change it. And I suddenly found myself with creative educators, people coming from all over the place. And what they wanted was to have that authority. It was amazing. I mean, they still talk about it. They have reunions. It's gone into the history of education. And I was so captivated by that motion of creativity in something other than the visual arts, and the theater art, the standard kind of creativity. This is creativity on a global scale. And I stayed friends with a lot of those people. We all married each other. There wasn't that much going on in Amherst, but in those years, it's so interesting. And one of my friends at the time became a very well-known African-American artist. His career was mostly in San Francisco. He did a lot of public art. I mean, these people were making change through creative uses in education, and then whatever in education interested them, they were on it. I mean, it was dazzling. I fell into it. Nobody headhunted me. It was like, oh man, but it was a very interesting thing. So when that was done with, I was still trying to get the it neck, the it. What is the it? And I have it now. Now I know what it is, but I did not know before. And I kept trying this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing and push. And I thought, well, if I could get my jewelry designs into Tiffany, then my star would bloom, everything would be cool. I did get my designs to Tiffany. They loved them. Goal realized I didn't have a big enough goal. All of my goal was to get into Tiffany. Got into Tiffany. I didn't, care whether or not they bought them. So isn't that awful? But so I learned about goal setting, real goals, and little by little, in retrospect, I feel that rather than appearing non-committal, it's self-education, it's absorption to learn. Go to another absorption and you learn. And I did that through 3 careers. I guess I'm in my 3rd one now. Just saturation. I didn't do it knowingly, but that's what it was, Nick. That's what it was. And now, who's going to tell me not to do it? I'm everybody's mother. I'm everybody's whatever. Nobody's
It's another chapter. It's
It
another
is.
door opening up. It's exciting again, right? Because now
Oh, it's
you're
thrilling.
looking to do another part of your creativity, of exercising your creativity in
Yeah.
another way. Tell us about that.
About my
Well,
goal.
about some of the more recent works, what's going on.
And I'm a bit shy, but I will tell you because I know you well and I know that it'll be well received. So here we go. Ba-dum-bum. I always figured that I would stand up and say, this is me. This is what I do at this time in my life, as opposed to, trying to get through the revolving door when you're 20 or when you're 40 or when you're 50. I thought, no, too many people out in the middle of the desert trying to get through the revolving door. I think I'll walk around.
Okay.
So right now, what I'm doing is recognizing that all of that and all of the struggle and all of the self-doubt, which is huge when you're doing it by yourself, huge, has brought me here. And people are beginning to tell me things about myself that I never saw, never thought, because you're working, you're recognizing that you haven't got it. So you go and you do another and another. But now I figure this is crazy. People are telling me I am this dazzling thing or I am this dazzling. You know what? One more thing. Harris Barron was sort of my mentor at Mass Art. And he said to me once, listen, he said, just do stuff. You climb a tree, you go out on a limb. He said, so what? It breaks. So pick another tree, go up another limb.
Oh, I love that. I love that. The whole
Oh,
philosophy. Yeah.
yeah.
Go
Isn't that
ahead.
right?
Just take a chance. Go ahead.
So what?
Yep.
If you don't, you already have no. How does that feel? So just, keep going. But right now, Nick, I'm really excited because what I have always been interested in is pre-Renaissance art. I'm interested in art that is made as the artist is a conduit. This is an ancient notion. The Renaissance, they Da Vinci and Raphael and all those guys, they said, no, God didn't make this. I made this.
Okay. All right. Let the
But
chips fall where they may. Absolutely.
But and they were brilliant, and their work is brilliant. But if you go to any museum of size, has a big collection, you'll see work that it has no authorship, artist unknown, and it just hums out of the case. That's what I wanted to find out about.
Hmm. Oh, very interesting indeed. Yes.
Yeah. And beautiful things, elegant things, things that just, you know, they're like magic, unattributed. That's what I wanted to find out about. What is that? Now, here's something you might find interesting. This is a secret thought that I've had after that part of the conversation. I have a feeling that people have the ability to transfer energy like electricity to a non-animate object. The more people that see it, the more people that like it, the more alive it becomes. I mean, let's talk about Monet's water lilies. Nice water lilies, big paintings of water lilies. But how many people have seen it and impressed it with that energetic?
They're a different way of looking, a different energy. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And in Chinese art, remember when um, Mr. Muller was teaching us art history? Did you have?
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, of course. And he talked about the important people viewing a work of art in Chinese, specifically Chinese art. They would take their chop and they would put it down on the piece, saying, "I have seen this piece." Okay. Well, that very collection of those people saying, "I have been here, I have seen this," added something to it. I thought that was so neat.
Yeah. Well, yes.
And that's when I started thinking, I wonder if it is transferable. What you think about that?
I love it. I love the whole path that's being taken here, the journey that's being taken. Yeah. It's exciting. It's going to the future in a way. It's step by step. It's creating something new. It's putting something there that people haven't seen before or felt before. That's part of the fabric of a society. And we're on the part of, well, visual for sure. It
Mhm.
could be music, it could be poetry.
Oh, music. Yes. Music gets right inside you.
Boy, does it ever, does it
Yeah.
ever. I recently did a music video, and I'll tell you what happened. I live in Yorkville, in Manhattan. That's the Upper East Side in the 80s. And there were two women talking, but they were talking a little loud. And as I went past them, one of them I noticed was wearing a sweater with a big American flag on it. And she said, "I can't wear this anymore," to her friend. And her friend said, "Why not? Why can't you?" She said, "I don't want to offend anyone." And I thought, really? You're thinking that because you're wearing an American flag, a beautiful sweater, that would offend someone. And although I didn't say anything, I just kept going, but I wanted to. How many men and women have died, have fought for that country, for that flag? And for you to say in this country, I don't know if I should wear it, I might offend someone. It just hit me the wrong way. It just did. And I
Well,
went home and wrote a song called "We'll Stand Up for America." And I wrote the song and then I put visual on it through the wonderful magic of the internet. And it's now out there. I'll send you a copy of it. I'm very
oh, I'd love
proud
to
of
hear it.
it.
Yeah. But
Because,
there's another aspect to this, Nick, which is, as I see it, um, aside whatever the imagery was on her garment, how lovely that she was conscious of not wanting to offend anybody. That's lovely.
okay, that part I get that. I do.
Yeah, that's very decent. everything else aside. I mean, there are other images beside the flag that it resonates in our time, but it could be some, I don't know, just pick some awful thing, you know,
Okay.
and weave that into that sweater. But the fact that you are sensitive to the fact that this could impact another person and then choose not to do it, that's decent.
I can understand that way of thinking, but it just, I went home and it just rang. It was
Oh, no, I
saying
don't
out.
disagree, but I'm just saying there's another
No,
aspect to
no,
this
there
that
is.
might
You
mellow it
have,
out a little bit.
no, absolutely. That's a good point you're making too. Absolutely. Back to mass art for a second.
Oh, okie dokie.
Mass art, when I was looking for an art school, hoping somehow I could go to college in an art school, and the Rhode Island School of Design came up, and then the Massachusetts College of Art came up. And boy, did I want to go to mass art. I just thought this is exactly where I should be. And so I prepared my portfolio. I went to Boston and had the review that they see your portfolio and
Oh,
everything.
yeah? Who
Then
reviewed
I
your
went back
portfolio?
to Springfield, Massachusetts, where I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
born and
right.
raised. And I waited for that letter. And I
Nick.
remember I was in the kitchen with my folks in Massachusetts in Springfield, and then my mother said, "Oh, the mail is here, Nick. You've got a letter from Mass Art." Well, if you ever wanted to say a prayer, believe me, that was it. And I
Oh,
opened
that's
up the letter and I
wonderful.
read it aloud, and it said, "You have been accepted."
Oh, you must have died. That's wonderful.
When you get something like that, it is like one of the high points of your life. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm going to be there. I'm actually going to be living in Boston. And I got to tell you a couple of quick things I think you'll find funny. So I went there, as you know, everybody, all the students, all of our classes, it felt like we were with old
Oh,
friends.
we
We,
were all we were all looking for each other in a manner of speaking, in a big,
oh,
yeah,
it was incredible, the
yeah, it was
feeling. It
neat.
was like my favorite class, art class, was now my future. It was just beyond words. I was so I'm still excited about that time and all
I
the
think it's
people that I
wonderful.
met.
Your excitement is contagious. It's wonderful.
I really, it was just the perfect place to be, with the right people, the right teachers. Emma Lennon, who taught color.
Oh, Emma Lennon.
She
Wow, what
took
a
us in a car.
jewel.
She went up to a hill over Boston and she said, "Look at the sky. Do you see the colors?" And people go, there's magenta, there's green. And she really opened our eyes to color like we've never seen it. I'll never forget her. What a wonderful person she was. Um, and so those 4 years went by so quickly. Arthur Honer, my graphic design
Oh, yeah, that's right.
advertising
He's a great job.
teacher, wonderful. He had his own studio. He had his own business in graphic design, and he taught us so much. He was reading Zen Buddhist books to us, and then so from there we were approaching design concepts. Oh my
Yes.
God! Just wow, just incredible stuff. I remember one time one of my dear friends decided at Thanksgiving that she wanted to do something for Professor Honer, and she thought, "Oh, I know what it would be." And we walked into class a couple days before we all went home for the Thanksgiving holiday, and she had brought a cage with a live turkey, a full-size turkey, and
Who
put it
did this?
and put it beside his desk.
Oh my God.
And Professor Arthur Honer came in. I cannot tell you the look he had. He's the kind of person that it's all kind of inner. It's very inner with him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He had a look on his face. To this day, I treasure that look, and I understand that he took the turkey home to Newton, where he and his family
Yeah.
lived, and kept it as a pet.
Of course.
How crazy wonderful is that, right? But
Oh
what
my
what an
God.
amazing,
I
amazing
can
school.
see the room. It's funny. As you're talking, I can see the room because I used to go down and visit with Mary all the time. And I was between graphics and ceramics and sculpture. It was the sculpture I
Mhm.
was interested in. but it turned out to be more ceramics and whatever. But I liked it, you know, it was cool. But I used to go down and see Mary, and it was, I can just see it. I can just see it. And Barry, you know, Barry, we can talk about friends, but wow, the smell of that building, you remember? The
Yep.
oil paint, which nobody oil paints anymore, is kind of, you know, gone away. But the smell and the other thing I loved about it is you could draw on the walls. And I just thought
Yes.
that was about the best thing. And twice a year they'd paint them out. So I still tell people about that. The walls were about that thick, you know. They had no corners. God, I loved that. I just loved it.
What an amazing experience that was. One thing that kind of I wasn't planning. I arrived there in September. I'm in a rented room on Francis Street because the college did not have a dorm at the time. They do now, but of course they didn't at the time. And there was a communal kitchen for about 8 people on my floor, where I rented a room. And I went to the kitchen and I thought, I don't know how to cook. My mother was an incredible cook. I don't have no clue. How do you boil water? I really, so I went to the store and bought Campbell's soups. I bought Swanson turkey dinners, beef dinners, you know, the TV dinners with the tray. And I lived on that for 6 months. And when I went back to Springfield, I said, Mom, you got to teach me how to cook. Please, please.
Oh, that's
And
marvelous.
you know, good cooks, they'll say, well, it's a handful of this. You take a pinch. I said, well, how much? A handful. Because good cooks automatically just go ahead and they do the
Yeah.
cooking and they know what they're doing. So a fistful of that, a pinch of this. Okay, so I was making my notes, and slowly, slowly, thank God, I learned to cook. I learned to cook,
Wow.
and that was part of my freshman year of just learning how to cook. It was incredible.
Had
Absolutely.
I known, I'd invited you out to my house. I was stuck in Lincoln. You know, I didn't have a
Wow.
car. I
Now I
mean,
find out.
yeah.
Now I find. Oh, but what an amazing time. So much. When I graduated and I took my plaid suitcase. This was before suitcases had wheels, if you recall. We had
Oh
suitcases
God,
with,
yes.
right, and my black portfolio, and I got on a Peter Pan bus,
Hmm.
which is the main office is in
Yeah,
Springfield, Massachusetts.
right.
And I went to New York City. I didn't have a
I
job.
always thought that was so courageous. There were two or three of you guys that went to New York. That was neat.
But
Yeah.
it was again, Gene, I knew that was the place next I had to go. That was the next chapter of my life. I knew that. I just did. And somehow I got a job. I met wonderful people. I started a new life here. And of course, I wanted to. And of course, I kept my dear friends,
Mhm.
who I still see and talk to all the time.
Mary
Uh,
always asks me if I see you. You know, we don't stay in touch that much, but when we do, your name always comes up.
it's, I hope in a good way. I
Oh,
hope
in
in
a very good way. Yeah.
Um, 2 weeks ago, Mass Art came to Manhattan. They decided
Really?
to come to Manhattan. The president of the college and the alumni office people came and had a at an art gallery and had a reception for all the graduates who came to New York.
No way. That's
It was
wonderful.
incredible. And um, it was so, and obviously all different classes were there. Uh, and I had a chance and I was introduced to the president,
Mm.
which of course I never met her before. Wonderful, wonderful woman. I
Who's
liked her
president
from
there
the
now? Do you know?
beginning.
Pardon?
And here's the thing.
Okay, I'm
When
sorry.
I met her, I said, I have to tell you something. It's a short story, but I think you'd enjoy it. She said, of course, please. I said, when I was in a student at Mass Art, we were all in my apartment, close to the school, and we were looking at my black and white little TV set, my box black and white set,
Oh God, we used to get together at Peters and do that.
and John F. Kennedy was shot and killed.
Oh no.
And that, well, for all of us, of course, that was,
Oh my God,
we
yes.
couldn't believe our eyes and ears. We couldn't believe when Walter Cronkite said he has died. And we were all in shock. The world was in shock. And here I am in Boston, and we thought, the people that were with me, why don't we go to the college and tell them what happened? They need to know this. This is huge. So we got out of my apartment and we're walking towards the college, and then we see some people, our friends from the college, coming towards us on the street. Now, at the time, Dr. Bertoli was the president of the college, Dr. Bertoli. So one of the people in my little group says, "Oh my God, look, we're so sorry. There's been something horrible that's happened to the people that were coming from the college." He said, "What? What are you talking about?" He said, and he yells out from my group, "The president has been shot and killed." And the people that were coming from the college, someone yelled, "Who would shoot and kill Dr. Bertoli?"
Oh my God.
It was, oh my God, Gene, I can't believe it's already the hour. Oh my God. I mean, it was ironic. It was such a catastrophe on so many levels. And yet, this crazy thing, who would shoot and kill Dr. Bertoli? I had to share that with you,
Well,
Gene.
I went home at, when I heard about it, I was in a class and Cheryl Wooten said, it happened. I turned around, I was goofing with somebody and I said, "President of what?" You know, I could not get my head around that. And then I went home on the subway. You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Nobody was speaking.
It was an event
Yeah, it was.
that you couldn't even get your mind around it. It was beyond anything anyone could have possibly
Yeah.
accepted on any terms. We're dealing with it, thinking, is this real? Did it really happen? Anyhow, we're almost out of time. Gene, I knew this was going to, I knew with you, and you're guilty of this. This was an incredible hour. I want to do a part two.
Oh, sure.
In the new year,
Yeah,
I'll give you
let's
some
do it.
days and you tell me
Yeah.
what's good for you. I would love that. And I know that you're preparing a website at some point.
I am in the process. I mean, anybody could look me up under Jeanne Manzelli. There are pages. I think there's like 5 or 6 pages, but it's things I've done that other people have posted.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
But
Would
yeah,
you spell your name slowly?
okay.
Just
Jeanne, Jeanne. Okay, so that odd spelling. Manzelli is easy. Manzelli.
perfect,
Okay,
perfect.
there
And
you go. But my
maybe
website should be up, oh, I don't know, probably in a month max.
so when we do a part two,
Oh,
they can
yeah,
also
absolutely.
see what's going on, your work and
Sure.
all that. Will there
The
be not
series, the
only
kids, yeah,
the paintings and so the drawings, but will there be
yeah.
jewelry? Will you put the jewelry part in
No,
it?
I don't do jewelry anymore, other than I make jewelry for myself or,
Okay.
whatever. No, right now, what I've been doing is I did a whole series of botanicals. I joined the American Society of Botanical Illustrators so I could see what everybody else was doing. That was fun. And now I'm doing these heady things because I like that. I like things that are like coming in at more than one level. So that's what I'm working on now. Let you know how that goes.
Love it all. Gene, you are a wonderful friend. You've always have
Oh,
been, you
you
always
too.
will be. And I really look forward to part two with you. We can go into more stories and visuals. And I've got
Yeah.
some stories that might even surprise you about my art journey. So we'll see. Anyhow, thank you so much. Much
Thank
love to you
you. This was a
always,
blast. Thank you.
always.
And
So that's it.
Hercules, thank you as well.
This is Nick Curto for the creative process. And go ahead and in- investigate your own creativity. Try something you've never done before. Just go ahead. It's okay to make mistakes, but you might be surprised what's starting to come forth in you. Okay, that's it. Be creative, everybody. Go ahead. All set.
Thank you both for an excellent episode. Very entertaining, very informative, very enthusiastic. In Greek, the word enthusiasmos or enthusiasm means being possessed by a divine force. And you
I
certainly
like
both radiated a lot of enthusiasm tonight. So thank you. If you have a picture that you'd like me to use to introduce this segment on YouTube, please send it to me. And you can get my information from Nick, and I'll
Okay.
use that instead of a picture of the muses, which I usually use.
I liked it. The muses, okay, that's very cool. So
Wonderful.
Muses, okay.
muses are okay.
Excellent.
Thank
Excellent.
you both very much, and happy holidays.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Much love to everyone everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Take care.
Yes.
Bye.